So a question I got yesterday about the previous video of how the gods are not angry. Someone asked, from the myths, they're literally angry all the time. How can you say they're not angry? So the myths teach us stories, and Sallustius actually goes into that. And let's talk about that today. So if the myths are just stories, then why have they been lying to us? Why did the ancient people not just write down what really happened? So Sallustius actually goes into that, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, to show you guys how mythology, even then, was thought of as a myth, as in just a creation to get a point across. And that's kind of what he goes over. So we're going to look over that just to see what he says about it. So it says that, this is him speaking, he says, "We may well inquire, then, why the ancients forsook the doctrines and made use of myths. There is the first benefit from myths, that we have to search and do not have to keep our minds idle." So it makes us think. So that the myths are divine and can be seen from those who have used them. Myths have been used to inspire poets, by the best philosophers, and by those who establish the mysteries, and by the gods themselves in the oracles. So he's saying even the gods reference and use the myths. So now the myths represent the gods themselves and the goodness of the gods, subject always to distinction of the speakable and the unspeakable, the revealed and the unrevealed, that which is clear and which is hidden. Since, just as the gods have made the goods of sense common to all, but those of intellect only to the wise, so the myths state the existence of the gods to all, but who and what they are only to those who can understand. So the example that he gives is the story that we all know about how Prince Paris, the one that fell in love with Helen of Troy, the myth of how he was chosen by Zeus to decide who was the best goddess, Aphrodite, Hera, or Athena. And we all know the story about the golden apple, and that whoever won the contest that Paris chose would win the golden apple. And we all know that Aphrodite won. A famous story. And Sallustius actually breaks down this myth to tell what that myth actually means. To say that if you think about it, that it's more than just a story, it's actually telling a lesson and actually giving a lecture. So this is what he says that story actually is. Not that it actually really happened historically, but that it was written and means to tell us something. So this is what he says it is. He says, for the example, they say that in the banquet of the gods, Discord threw down that golden apple, and the goddesses contended for it. Were sent by Zeus to Paris to be judged. So Paris saw Aphrodite to be beautiful and gave her the apple. So now he's going to break it down what it actually means. Here the banquet signifies the hypercosmic powers of the gods. This is why they're all together. The golden apple is the world, it's earth, which is being formed out of opposites, so it's naturally thrown by discord or strife because it's being created by all kinds of opposite ends. The different gods bestow different gifts upon the world, and are thus said to contend for the apple or the earth. And the soul which lives according to sense is what Paris is. That's what Paris represents. Not seeing other powers in the world, but only the beauty of it, declares Aphrodite the winner. So that is why in the story Aphrodite won, because we as people, we don't see the invisible and everything that makes the earth. We can only see the beauty of it. So that is why Paris chose Aphrodite in the story, and that's what that story represents. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, a little bit about myths and why they are and how they were used. Not as historical fact, but to tell stories to help explain the ways of the gods, to make it easier for people to understand. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you later, and I'll see ya. Bye.